Two zebras are standing in a field, and they're arguing. Not loudly, not aggressively, just the way two individuals argue when they're both completely certain and completely confused about why the other one doesn't see it. The first one says, "I'm a white animal with black stripes." The second one says, "No, I'm black with white stripes." They're both looking at the same animal. They're both telling the truth, and somehow that makes it worse. Because this isn't an argument about facts. They agree on the facts. Same animal, same stripes, same field. What they can't agree on is which fact gets to be the center, which color is the animal, and which color is just something on top of it. That's a different kind of argument, one that evidence doesn't really solve, because both sides have evidence. Both sides can point at the same thing and say, "See, right there. That's what I mean." And once you choose your starting point, everything else arranges itself around it. Your logic, your certainty, the reason the other one seems unreasonable. But neither one of them went home that night. The first one found his group, and he didn't need to explain much. He was certain, and certainty, when it speaks quietly enough, sounds exactly like truth. They listened. They nodded. Not because they had seen what he saw, but because he had already seen it for them. The second one did the same. Two groups now, each one carrying a conviction that belonged originally to a single animal. But convictions don't stay personal for long. They move, they multiply, they stop needing the person who started them. By morning, both groups were moving toward each other, not in anger, in certainty. And there's a difference. Angry people hesitate. Certain people don't. They marched across the field, each one surrounded by those who saw what they saw, felt what they felt, started where they started. No one asked questions. Questions at that point would have felt like weakness, and weakness was the other side's problem. They met in the middle of the field, and that's where something quietly collapsed. Not dramatically, not with a sound, just a slow failure of the labels. Every zebra looked at the one standing directly in front of them. Black stripes on white, white stripes on black. The same, completely, undeniably the same. And for a moment, no one moved, because the certainty that had carried them across the field, the certainty that had felt like ground beneath their feet, had no instructions for this moment. It had prepared them for opposition, not for a mirror. The march had made sense. The cause had made sense. The enemy had made sense. But standing here, face to face, the enemy looked exactly like them. Same stripes, same field, same sky above both of them. And slowly, without anyone deciding to, the certainty began to dissolve, not into doubt, not into shame, into something quieter than both, kind of stillness that arrives when a question you never thought to ask suddenly has no answer. They stood there. No winner, no loser, just zebras who had marched a very long way to discover that the thing they were so sure about was never the whole picture. It was just where they had chosen to start. I keep thinking about that stillness. Not the argument at the beginning, not the march, just that moment in the middle of the field when everything stopped. No winner, no loser, no answer. Just the quiet collapse of every label they had carried. And what remained wasn't a truth. It was just the most basic thing, that they were zebras, standing in a field. That was it. No one said it out loud. No one needed to. The stripes were still there, black on white, white on black. The question was still unanswered, but somehow, knowing they were zebras was enough to stop the march. Not enough to settle anything, just enough to stop. And I find myself wondering, how many arguments end exactly like this? Not with an answer, not with someone finally seeing the full picture, just with exhaustion, just with the quiet decision to remember only the simplest thing about yourself and let the rest go unanswered.